Hi, my name's Frankie. I'm 21 years old. I am at university studying applied performance at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire. I have this here YouTube channel, which you may be watching this video on. You might be watching it on another social media platform. And I have bipolar disorder and am a mental health advocate as a general life choice. I never really know what to do with these videos because today's World Mental Health Day, Tuesday the 10th of October. It's celebrated every year. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say celebrated, but it happens every year with the whole world, with the aims of raising awareness and breaking down stigma about mental health and mental illness. So yeah, I never really know what to do with awareness videos because I'm not exactly like qualified. You don't do a course to become an advocate. You just be passionate about something and raise awareness and yeah, spread the word, which is what I tried to do. But it is World Mental Health Day and the theme this year is mental health in the workplace. So like I said, everyone has mental health and you might be thinking, what has that got to do with me? I don't have a mental illness, I'm completely sane. Why should I be thinking about mental health in the workplace? It doesn't affect me. Well, it does. It affects everybody. 1 in 4 people will suffer with a mental health disorder at some point in their lives, which, okay, that doesn't include 75% of people, but it does. Because if you think of how many people are in your family or how many friends you've got and then sort of stick that statistic onto it, you don't know who's suffering with what because it's often invisible. You can't sort of just look at someone and go, yeah, they have schizophrenia, or yeah, that person's definitely got seasonal affective disorder. Absolutely, 100%. You can never know. Unless someone tells you. But why would they tell you if there's this massive stigma of it doesn't matter to me so I don't care? I don't like just sort of reeling statistics off of people, but like I said, I don't really know how to do these videos. So I'm going to give you a statistic, which is there are 300 million people in the world battling with depression. And depression is globally the leading cause of disability. Disability is defined as something which impairs your daily functioning for at least 12 months. So that's a lot of people, 300 million. You might be thinking, what can I do about that? Well, firstly, you've watched this video. Well, you're watching, hopefully you're still here, which already means that you have become more aware. If you share this video, that could be a few more people who are aware. If you just say to someone today, how are you, and mean it, you're already starting to better the social functions and open those channels of people actually being able to say, oh, I'm having a bit of a shit day. I'm not suggesting that if someone asks you, are you okay, you break out and tell them your entire story. You don't have to do that. You can. You don't have to. I always say to people, never ask someone, how are you, if you're not prepared for the answer. Another thing I would say to do is something that I actually do because I'm not within the workplace at the moment, except I kind of am because I am Birmingham School of Acting studying. And we work together. I consider it work. And I do challenge people on certain things which I think really, really do build up stigma, and I try and break it down. One specific way in which I do this is by challenging the language people use. I do it here in the flat, I do it generally everywhere. But I think if you're in the workplace and you hear sort of a comment about oh, that person, I did this and they went schizo, or oh, the weather's so bipolar, or oh, that's so depressing, like, oh, I feel so depressed today, I would challenge you to say, actually, do you feel, chronically numb or sad or disturbed for a period of more than 2 weeks persistently? Are you actually depressed? Are you just saying that word? Because people just using it in terms of a describing word, yes, you can say this is depressing, because depressing means to be deflating. However, if someone's saying I'm depressed just because their favourite singer isn't lined up at the festival they bought tickets for already, it's weakening the word, because depression isn't just a word, it is also a diagnosis of mental illness, which disables 300 million people worldwide. Not the same thing, are they? Anyway, one of the things that I do is challenge people on using the word psychotic. People have a habit of misusing the word to say, like, when someone's being a twat, or I've often heard people say, oh, they're psychotic. There was a girl who was on the foundation with me who put a status up about when she was driving to work, and there was a psychotic bike rider, because he went from the pavement to the road and he had a GoPro on. Now, psychosis is a loss of touch with reality whilst seeing or hearing or believing things that are not true or real, but they're real to you at the time. So I'm not talking about a 5-year-old with an imaginary friend. For example, when I was very unwell with mania, bipolar, I I believed I could fly. There was this hallucination called the man. He was a shadow, and he used to take thoughts out of my brain and put them in jars. That's psychosis. Having a GoPro and cycling like through a red light, that doesn't make him psychotic. That makes him a dangerous cyclist and a bit of an idiot. Doesn't make him psychotic. So I would say to you, challenge yourself and challenge others when people use diagnoses or misplaced words to describe a bad situation. Like, I would say challenge that, because that can break down stigma. I don't know. And also, if someone thinks that like psychotic means like psychopathic or like that, and you tell them actually no, this is what psychosis is, they can be like, oh, I didn't realise. Awareness! The last thing I wanted to say is just on a general note. It's a lovely quote. It's extremely applicable, given what I've just been talking about, and it's funny because there's a bit of a debate about who actually said it, and people get really, really antsy about which philosopher had this quote, and I just find that funny because it doesn't really matter. It matters that they said it and that we've taken note and that we're still spreading it on hundreds and thousands of years later. And the quote is, everybody you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind, always. So, from this day onwards, on this Mental Health Awareness Day, I challenge you to be kind, always, because you do not know what is happening for other people. Whether you are a boss, you're a manager, you are an employee, you're a colleague, you're a student, you're a friend, you're a sister, you're a brother, you're a son, you're a granddaughter, whatever you identify as in a role of relationships, be kind. And have a good Tuesday.